Alright, we all need to get back to designing.
How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
Nailed it.
Oh, I feel left out.
We're friends.
Welcome to Almost Therapeutic, the podcast about things you're probably not talking to your parents about. Tonight, on the panel, we have our regular members.
Aiden.
Ben.
Connor.
Yeah, Connor, you're a regular member.
Yeah, I was looking at Ryan thinking, like, what are you saying?
And our special guest tonight is graphic designer and dancer extraordinaire.
Oh, stop it.
It is Ryan Herbert. Welcome, Ryan.
How you doing, guys?
What are you up to at the moment?
Podcasting.
Designing fantastic graphics like our Almost Therapeutic logo, by the way.
Yeah, nice plug in
trying.
there. That was a
He's
good
trying.
plug in.
Yeah, good plug-in.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Do you want to plug in anything else? Talk about your Facebook page and that?
RH Doodles, check it out on Facebook. And,
RH Doodles.
RH Doodles.
We'll put it on the video. So you can see
Yeah,
how
check
it's
it
It's on your screen right now.
Check the description below.
Man, what a legend. Free
I
advertisement.
might not put it in the description just because you said it.
Oh, that's not how that
That's
works.
that's a low blow. Eh?
Yeah.
Thanks, friends. Yeah, great friends. Yeah.
Speaking of descriptions,
Oh yeah, also, as always guys, you can get back to us through social media on our Facebook page, Almost Therapeutic, www.facebook.com/Almost Therapeutic, on Twitter, @AlmostTweeting. Don't forget if you talk about the show to hashtag Almost Therapeutic and check out our YouTube channel as well, by the same name, Almost Therapeutic. Hold that on your face.
Okay.
yep, facing the rest of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Show the team, they're going to give you clues.
Wait.
These are about video
So tilt
games.
down's right, tilt up is incorrect, or pass? Pass.
Backwards.
I don't know what that is.
All the way backwards.
All the way back.
I actually knew what that was, guys.
All the way
I
back,
actually
Ben.
know what that is.
There you go.
There you
okay. Okay, so it's a game, you got pieces
Push
and they
me.
got pieces. It's not checkers, it's the other one.
Chess?
Yeah. Okay, that, and then the other word is you're really, really good at it. You've
One?
like if they were below you, you'd be there, like you're in charge of them.
Superior.
More intense.
Boss.
More intense.
I'd suggest you pass.
Okay, pass it. Pass it. You can't handle it. You can't do it.
Okay.
Pass. Flip more. Come on. It's like Guitar Hero, except it's got other bits in it as well. It's got drums. It's got
If
singing.
you don't get this,
The game's called.
you serious?
Music band.
That's a genre- like a stone.
Like a stone. Like a stone, not a stone.
A rock?
And then
Rock band.
there you go.
Yes.
One.
Hey!
There you go. Ben actually gets 1 point. I think that was so truly pathetic. We have to redeem that in some way, shape,
Were
or
you
form.
about to say Circle of Rock?
Come on, I think we have to put Ryan. We have to put Ryan in the hot seat.
I think it's got to go flat.
All the way forward for right, all the way back for pass.
Pass.
No, Ryan can get that one.
No, pass. Okay, so it's like that, but small.
Like what?
Like that, but small. What's that?
A MacBook?
And a different word for small.
Little Mac.
There you go.
That's the score.
Okay.
Oh, God.
It's like Rock Band, except smaller.
Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Oh.
Forward.
Yeah.
And he's winning.
I feel like he's got easy
okay.
questions.
He's in Gears of War. He's got like a little goatee. He wears like a thing.
I don't know his name.
Pass.
Pass.
He wears a thing.
Alright, classic PlayStation 2 game. You drive around in cars and you shoot people with lasers as a little ferret on the guy's shoulder. He's
Oh,
blocked.
Jack and Daxter.
There you go.
Yeah.
Master.
You love this game. It's a post-apocalyptic game. It's got like these zombies things in it. It's a guy and a girl who looks kind of like Ellen Page.
Oh, Last of Us?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I feel like I'm the short straw.
I don't know what that is.
Like blank.
And that's almost 60 seconds, so your time's up. What was his score?
Like
Three.
25,000.
He got like 5. It should say, shouldn't it?
I
1,
think
2,
Ryan got
3,
10.
4.
I got 4.
He got
Yes.
4.
How
10.
did you not know what Mega Man was?
I said he could do that one.
Oh, I passed it.
Just a big dude with a cannon on his arm. Like, come
Well,
on.
welcome to Almost Therapeutic. That was brilliant, Ryan, with a score of 4.
Thank you.
To Ben's score of 1.
Do you,
I
want
feel like I drew the short straw on that.
You did.
you say you play video games, but you don't.
He
You're
looked
the video
like
game expert. We'll be back with the topic of the evening in just 1 moment. A few weeks ago, when we were talking about internet addiction, do you remember
yeah.
we were having that discussion?
Yeah.
And a number of times during that discussion, we talked about internet violence, video game violence, and we said we'll come back to it and we'll
Yep.
do an episode, and that's what we're doing tonight. So we're going to pick up on that topic and talk specifically about, do violent games make people more violent? It's really controversial. There are experts on every side of the story. In my own field as a psychologist, it's kind of like accepted that in fact it's true, video games make people more violent. And getting ready for tonight, doing a bit of factual research, my own thinking's changed a lot on this. So I'll be really interested to hear from the panel, from their own perspective. I know all of you play video games. All of you play violent video games, what I would class as violent video games.
Nah.
And you're all the biggest teddy bears I know. So it'll be interesting. What do you guys think? Do video games that are violent in content, first person shooter, that kind of stuff, do they make you more violent?
No.
No, I don't think so.
I reckon it depends on the person itself.
Yep.
So some people are just like, oh yeah, it's a video game.
Yep.
It's not real life stuff like that. But then like usually the younger age people like, oh, like they're more susceptible to it, and they're just like, oh, this is fun. This is natural. This is normal.
Yep.
So then they can't tell the difference between video game and real world kind of things.
I don't think it's an age thing.
So I think it's like an age thing plus the personality traits. So like some people are more violent.
Yep.
And then if they're not getting like, there's like violent stuff, so like, oh yeah, now I've got to, get more violent stuff in real life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think my personality, I can bring out some pretty serious anger towards some games.
Yes.
Towards people that play online games, I get pretty frustrated. So yeah, in that aspect, I think like I have anger outbursts throughout games, but it doesn't make me more of an angry person.
Doesn't
Right.
yeah.
I don't walk.
carry out
I don't
that
walk
for the game.
around wanting to go shoot people or stab someone or anything like that. But in the game, in that moment, yes, I can get frustrated and stressed. But it's just like anything else. If I was playing a sport and something didn't go right, you get frustrated and stressed. So, yeah, it's just a different way of seeing it, I guess.
Yeah.
And happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a particularly violent person. And I think most of the time when I play video games, I play it with the mentality of, I'm not going to get stressed out, like you were saying, I'm just here to play this and have fun. And when in that state of mind, like Connor and I have played a lot of games together, and even the really violent video games, when they're in that state of mind, there could be a bunch of violent things and blood and gore and shooting happening in the background, but we're in the corner jumping up and down on a bottle because it spins and cacking ourselves at that, So it's not just the game content itself, it's
Sure.
how you go about playing it and your mentality with it.
Okay, because one of the things that I kind of was, jarred by is violent crime, particularly for 12 to 17-year-olds, has significantly decreased in the last 20 years, especially in Western countries where video game play rate has increased, online playing has become a new phenomenon, graphics are much more realistic. So while we are going into this phase of much more graphic gameplay, violent crime's decreased.
Because they're inside.
Yeah.
Because everyone's
Yeah,
inside
that's true.
and they're not out causing trouble.
Yeah.
Well, that could be.
100%.
One of the other things that we found is competence in playing the game is probably the biggest factor of whether you get frustrated and angry, irrespective of what the game's about. If, in other words, if you suck at the game and you're getting killed,
Oh, you're not going to have a good
and
time.
your friends are shooting.
A good time.
Hang on, but it's not the competence of you, it's the competence of your teammates.
Oh, I see.
As a
So-
teammates to let the team
one
down.
who's already said I get frustrated the most is already defending his case.
The reason I get frustrated
Yeah, it's
is
not
because
me,
my
that's perfect at
it's
all
my
games.
teammates, it's my teammates that think they can play and they clearly can't.
Even if it's his best friend.
Which is an important issue because games now you tend to play in teams.
Yeah, you're
And you
teams,
play
yeah.
online, so you might be playing with your friends against a bunch of people on the other side of the world, and beating them isn't just about you; it's about not letting the rest of your team down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Which
spoke about
these
that.
guys don't get.
We spoke about that a little bit when we talked about internet addiction. Is like
Right.
there's a whole social aspect to it, and there's a hierarchy, and there's popularity gained through playing games and being good at them. So it adds a whole nother level of stress and importance on it for a lot of younger teens, and like even older teens. I would say like people our age place a lot of importance on how they're playing video games and where they stand in that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's a much more public way of losing or failing because now people see you lose and get
Yeah.
shot or die or whatever you do in the game. Whereas when it was just you in the video, you might have got cranky, but it was between you and the computer.
Yeah.
So there's actually a term, rage quitting. Do you know what that is?
100%.
He knows what that is.
I'm
Yeah.
professional.
You're a professional rage
If
quitter.
any- if
What
there
is
was-
it, Ben?
It's when your team lets you down, you just go, you know what, I don't want to play anymore. So screw you guys, good luck without me, and then I quit.
And
Exit the game.
cut.
Oh, this,
Oh.
all of us Turn down things
It
off.
is off. It's my epilepsy medication alarm.
Well, you should have been on top of it.
You know, the funny thing about that is because of Ben's reaction, I'm just going to keep that in there.
Yeah, 100%. So we're going back to rage quitting. Tell us what rage quitting is, Ben.
What is it?
Yeah. Because I got a
Swearing.
definition.
Every game he plays, rage quitting is involved.
It is the act of disconnecting gaming equipment, sometimes violently,
Yeah,
in response to feeling overwhelmed by your competitors.
Yeah, I've got a couple new desks recently. But I don't get overwhelmed by my competitors.
The thing is, what do you get overwhelmed by?
The lack of skill of my teammates.
Yeah.
I've said that. I have stated this multiple times already.
Never him, just his team.
Does that include you? Do you get frustrated with yourself?
Sometimes I get frustrated with myself because I've had 2 bad games with my friends, right? So then I go out and think, you know what, the online community can't be this bad.
Right.
You know what, they are. And then I have a bad game because I'm on tilt, I'm on a bad mindset, and then I'm just as bad as the rest of them. And then it's just a roller
It's
coaster.
probably going to be a hard topic for you to talk about because as we get deeper and deeper into this, we'll start using like leet speak and stuff, and that'll be like, what is on tilt? What does that mean?
Just say RIL, Connor.
Well, get out.
All right, Aiden, you've got a comic that I think pretty much sums up what we're talking about at the moment.
Con was making a point before that people stay inside now, and that's why violent crimes aren't being committed. This comic goes perfectly with it. So am I doing the comic to that camera?
Yeah, do it to the camera.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So what we got here is a comic strip.
Story time.
So, yeah, story time. Guys, cross your legs.
Okay.
Get down on the carpet.
No,
Maybe
that's
So-
hard to do. I can't do that.
This is our son, Billy.
Yep.
Before video games, Billy was a normal, well-adjusted kid. But now, Billy's not violent at all.
Oh my god.
You see, kids by nature are cruel beings. Physical aggression is how they vent their frustrations. But with a safe virtual play space to release this aggression, everything's different. It's like video games are sucking all the violent urges right out of our child.
Yeah, that'd make me upset too.
Is it working for you, Ben?
Not only that, but the lack of physical activity has left him lazy and weak. How can he threaten physical violence upon others with his non-intimidating demeanour and physique? His bullying potential is practically gone.
Yeah, I can see that.
But there's still hope. Your video game skills are useless in the real world, just like you.
That's solid parenting. That's solid parenting, guys. Solid parenting.
Teach them that those who can physically intimidate others with implicit or explicit threats of violence are the real winners in the game of life. Terrible parenting. The key to making your child a violent go-getter.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we don't advocate that particular parenting approach, but seems to sum up some of what we were talking about. So one of the things, again, that we're finding is playing video games, even violent games in and of themselves, does not correlate with young people being violent. Certainly doesn't correlate them with them committing violent crimes. And one of the really weird things is young people who play video games for an hour or less a day are less violent than those who don't play at all. And that really surprised me.
Why?
Well, it might come back to what you were saying before, that they're venting, they're in their room, they're not sort of creating.
No, I don't think it's that, like, it's not even venting, like, video games make you happy. They're fun. So
It's just that
They're
simple.
almost therapeutic.
It's just that simple.
So they're having fun in their room.
Just had to get that joke in there, didn't you? I really forced that down the road.
I thought that was pretty well timed.
We're sure you did.
You don't come out of your room after having like an hour of fun and be like, oh, I'm gonna
Well,
punch someone.
Hang on,
No, no,
Ben
no,
does.
Ben, that's Ben.
Yeah.
Ben will be playing with us and he goes, nah, I can't do this anymore. And then he turns it off and he walks away. And
So let's just
starts
imagine.
After you
Nah.
crash, bang, Skype off.
Let's just imagine Ben had a good gaming session, right?
Yeah, that
He
happens.
comes out of his room
That happens
and
occasionally.
he's like, he's all fun. He's
Yep.
all fun. He's
Oh,
all.
yeah, he's like skipping around, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I have a good game, everyone
he's-
knows I've had a good game.
And if he's
Yeah.
angry at the game, it doesn't last nearly as long as if he had a good game. Like if he has a good game, he's on a high for the rest of the day.
Yep.
If he has a bad game, it gets bad in 10 minutes.
Yeah, you do some push-ups and pull-ups and you get straight back on the horse.
Which again comes back to the point that the content of the game isn't the point.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with it.
Whether you're winning, whether you're losing, the fact that it's in public, you're playing in teams, other people see what you're doing, that's got a big frustration sort of, element to it.
Yeah, I think I get way mad at the little Italian plumber than I do at like anything like Gears of War. Mario's like my bane.
Well,
Yeah.
violence in the media we know desensitizes people. I mean, one of the things that is clearly obvious. In the last 20 years, movies and TV shows are more graphic, they're more violent. I remember watching a movie called Schindler's List for the first time, and it was the first time I had seen in a movie quite a graphic shot of someone being literally shot in the head. And I nearly had to leave the theatre, the movie theatre, because I felt sick.
And now we do that in games.
And now, you know, crime scene investigation shows and all those kinds of things, the level of stuff that you see, you do get desensitised to. Do you think there's a difference between the effect of what people see in movies and television shows compared to games? Can they draw a distinction?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest difference is that movies, you watch a movie with the intent that you're getting told a story, and and it's designed around the idea that you're supposed to believe it. You know, you're getting told a story, you know it's just a movie, but it's designed to look real, to feel real, to seem real. That's a real person, they're really doing this, they're actually a detective. Whereas when you're playing a game and you're in control of a super soldier, and you know the storyline is you're supposed to go and shoot these aliens, but you're busy trying to jump onto this rock over here because you think it'd be funny, you realise it doesn't seem as real. You know it's just a game, and you're in control of it, and you're mucking around. That
phrase you used, it's just a game. Because I've deliberately talked to a number of younger teens, pre-teens in the last couple of weeks thinking about this, and they've articulated really clearly, but I know when I'm on a video game, it's just a game. Whereas when you're watching a movie, if it's well done, the whole point of the movie is you don't think it's just a movie. It's meant to suck you in.
Sucks you into that world.
Sucks you into it, and it affects you, I think, a lot more.
Yeah, they have a lot more control over the fourth wall in a movie, I feel. Whereas if putting the player directly in control of the lead character in a game just completely destroys the fourth wall.
Right.
And you're interacting with every character, and you know, you make decisions based on what you think and feel in games. Like there's a lot of games coming out.
As a movie you have no control over.
Right.
You're just there for the ride.
Yeah. Exactly. You really
You're a
have no
passenger.
control.
Yeah, you're a
exactly.
passenger.
Well, the most violent thing I have seen this year was a music video clip by Rihanna.
Yeah.
It did my head in.
That was intense.
We were going to try and use a bit of it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it before, and you came up and you showed it to me, and you were like, I wish we could use this because this is so popular. It's got millions of views on YouTube.
Absolutely,
and all that. They ran a video clip. Do you remember what song it was?
I don't want to particularly advertise it.
Yeah, okay, but the video clip was so full on, and I got to like a minute in, and I was like, that's really intense. And he goes, no, trust me, it gets worse.
It does.
And it does. It's sick almost. I felt sick after watching the video clip.
Felt dirty.
Yeah,
so I think there is
really
a difference between things like movies, video clips, television shows that you go on the story and you're an innocent sort of participant, whereas in a game you've got some level of control, and that seems to make a difference.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in just a minute.
Clap.
Why not?
Brothers. Yes.
So guys, with the video game violence thing, particularly in the United States, there's actually a lot of funding and research going into this issue because it's being equated with things like mass shootings, with terrorist acts, with some truly awful things that nobody wants to see happen. What's your thoughts on that? Is there a link, or do you think there's other ways to explain those things?
I think it goes back onto it depends on the person itself.
What about the person?
Well, clearly something's not right up there then.
Okay, because the vast majority of young people can play these games, like you guys, are not violent, don't have any violent tendencies, have never committed a violent act.
No.
So it's not the game that we can equate, there must be other factors.
Yeah, I think it's like
100%.
something with them, and then maybe the game like pushed them in that direction.
Right.
But it's not the game's fault for that happening. It's just like that guy.
Yep.
It's an interpretation.
Yeah.
And you kind of, it doesn't matter what you make or what you do, you can never interpret what somebody else is going to think of that.
Yeah.
You can never think of what somebody else is going to interpret that, sorry.
For sure. Well, mental health's a huge issue.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we get the argument the wrong way around. If somebody has got significant mental health issues that make them prone to violence and they lack empathy and they lack that insight into other people's feelings, they, by default, are going to be drawn to things like violence and violent games.
Yeah.
But the violent games are not creating those traits in that person.
Well, I've actually seen and read things where in the past, something like a mass shooting or a serious cult or something like that's come about.
Yep.
And when it talks about the person who started it or created it or committed the act, but when it was at the time before violent video games were around, they would say they used to do stuff like read books about specific very violent historical leaders in the past, and read about specific topics and read about the witch trials and all this sort of stuff and all these intense violent things in human history.
Yes.
So I would think these types of people, if they weren't going to find their fix on violence and these fascinations that they have through a video game, they'd find it elsewhere.
Yeah, for sure. And I think referring to history is interesting too,
Right.
because historically the most violent acts we know of have been perpetrated by people long before video games. I mean, you think of the Crusades, you think about the World Wars, you think of ethnic cleansing, think of what happens in Africa with African warlords, even ISIL. These are things that are based on extremist ideologies, they're based on belief systems, they've killed millions upon millions of people.
Yeah.
And I think to reduce a strong argument to video games and violent behaviour as being a big connection is really misleading. Because what it will do is stop us looking at the true causes that are much more difficult to address.
Yeah. I feel like video games are just an excuse. It's a way to point the finger at something when the mass doesn't understand.
Easy blame. Yeah,
It's an easy blame.
No one really.
It's like something new, so it's like, oh no, that's the reason.
No one has an explanation for like terrorism or mass shooting, so they're just like, well, we have to blame something.
Yeah, like
that's
what's happening now?
that's
Video
what-
games are getting popular. Oh yeah, that must be it.
Yeah, for sure. So, and I'm not saying video game violence is good, don't misunderstand me, but the truth is, it's a cop-out. It really is a cop-out to suggest that video games and video game violence is the one to blame for any significant increase in crime or societal decay, particularly amongst young people. There are much deeper reasons for it, like poverty, like lack of access to education, like extremist worldviews that people are too afraid to confront, like underlying mental health issues that have not been diagnosed or treated and addressed appropriately. So some takeaway tips tonight. Limit what young people see at different ages. I mean, ratings and age ratings are there for a reason. And you guys made that point, that Ryan, you in particular, when you're immature, your ability to tell it's just a game versus other...
It's kind of a bit blurred.
It's a lot more blurred. And I do deal with young people on a regular basis who are 5, 6, 7, 8 years of age, who are playing League of Legends and COD and things like that. Now, that clearly is inappropriate. They're not developmentally ready to draw those distinctions. So use age limits because they're there for a reason and they're pretty well thought out. Limit the amount of time online for young people in general, not just on games, because again, if you blame the game, then you're going to create a reaction in a teenager or a young adult. But I think it's healthy to limit the amount of time we're all online. And that includes us parents. Because like I've said on other podcasts, there are many places I go where the parents are on their phone, their iPad, checking their Facebook status, they're ignoring their child more than the child's ignoring them. So I think limiting the amount of time we're all lost in the online world is a healthy thing. Be familiar with what your kids are playing. Know what the games are. Know what they're about. I mean, some of the things the guys have said tonight point out it's not just about shooting, which was my opinion of first-person shooter games, until I realised there's whole areas that you go to where that's not the point. There are whole skill sets that you work on where it's not about shooting someone. So be aware of what the game actually is about and what your young people are playing. Talk with them about injustice, about extremism, about mental health, about the kind of things that affect a very small number of people so severely that they do perpetrate horrible crimes that leave all of us stunned and shaking our head in disbelief. But let's talk about the real causes, the tough causes for those issues, rather than finding a cop-out or a scapegoat like a video game. And be alert to the mental health status of your own young people. If you're concerned at all, make sure that you talk to someone and seek advice, and if you can, encourage them to talk to someone and seek advice if you're seeing traits that you really are concerned about. That would be my tip.
Yeah, that's some sound advice right there.
Anything to add, boys?
Yeah.
No, that was pretty solid right there, John.
You happy with that, Ben?
Yeah, that was. I'm impressed, mate.
Nice deep movie
Yeah,
for
I
moments.
think
Ryan's just, he can't deal. Right,
I think one of the most important things you wrote just then was definitely the involvement of the parents understanding what the
Interaction.
games are about,
Yeah.
knowing what it's like, explaining the game to the child, because not the whole point, but a big point of having a parent and the parent being there is to be a filter for all this information from the outside world. The child receives information and is brought up and learns things when they're brought through the parent. And that includes games. That can't be a section that's off on its own, the child's exploring by
And it
themselves.
usually is.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
the older generation didn't have that, when when they were younger. So
Thinking about it, we've had age filters for lots of things for thousands and thousands of years. Like there's always been coming of age ceremonies for lots and lots of different cultures around
Yeah,
the
you're
world.
not allowed to go out hunting.
But like Aiden was saying, they were done in families, in tribes.
Yeah,
and
it was
very
everyone was
connected.
involved.
Yeah.
And the
And at
child,
the moment,
the
everyone's
important thing is
separate.
the child understood that the tribe didn't think they were ready until they were a certain age, and
Sure.
then that was accepted. You get excited about it, you want to learn about the world, you want to be involved in that adult life once you're ready.
Yeah.
But as a
And
child, they
even-
don't.
Even if the parent's not able anymore, they're too busy to be able to check these games and stuff. Kids, older siblings are a great resource as well.
Yeah.
Older siblings who understand these games and stuff like that, and know about what it's about. Your parent can quickly ask, is this game at a level that your younger sibling would be able to play or would be comfortable playing? You can say yes or no.
Yep.
And or can you teach your little brother how to play this game? Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's that's a
I-
responsibility
I
that's
can
often
hear the
untapped.
groans coming through. I don't want my little sibling near my gaming computer.
Yeah.
I'm not teaching them no game.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending your time with us while we had a chat about this topic. I hope it's been useful to you.
Yeah, and don't forget, guys, that we do have those social media sites up there, and our ability to make these podcasts and get this information out there and talk about these important topics relies on your support. So please like on Facebook and share the videos and bring them up and discuss them with other people. We want to create a community where we're able to discuss these things openly and help people through them.
For sure.
Awareness. We just want the
Absolutely.
awareness.
And as always, if anything that we have talked about tonight affects you in a personal way, please seek support in your local area. There's some numbers on the screen for those of you watching in Australia, but there are similar services and accesses in all parts of the world.
Yeah.
Good to spend our time with you tonight. Good night.
Woo! That was way better. I like that way better.